All right, hello and welcome to the Community Compass YouTube channel. I want to basically share my journey with you on how I created the Flying Sage community and how you can leverage community in your business to help make an impact in the world and also to create a business that actually fulfills you. So starting with the Flying Sage kind of origin story, I started this brand in university, and so it was a side hustle of mine to start, and I was inspired by a friend of mine who created a dropshipping business. So I basically started going in the dropshipping direction, and I wanted to create a clothing brand. So my goal was to originally try and destigmatize psychedelics using apparel. And I think that was a good place to start. The good thing about dropshipping is that it's very low, there's low barriers to entry. You can basically get a store up pretty quick. And so that's kind of where I started, and we started getting a little bit of traction on some of our designs. We had a bit of a launch party. My sister also joined the business as my co-founder, which was really nice to have. And we kind of worked at the clothing side of things for a while, keeping in mind that I did have like full-time classes and work that I was focused on, so I couldn't really pour a lot of energy into it. So that's kind of where it was for the first, I'd say, like year and a half to maybe 2 years. But then at a certain point, I recognized a different opportunity that was coming up, where I saw an opportunity to actually create something new, which was to create more in-person community around psychedelics. At the time, I'd actually gotten a job with an organization called MAPS Canada after I had finished my university degree, or actually my final year of university. I got that job. And I was working with MAPS Canada for about 3 years, and kind of during that time, I was recognizing that while the research and advocacy and clinical side of psychedelics was really important, I also felt there was just something lacking around integrating psychedelics into the social fabric. And I was also recognizing that there was part of me that really wanted to do more community building with MAPS Canada, but I was coming up against an organizational, I suppose, like value difference in that like MAPS's main primary initiative wasn't to focus on community building. It was, I mean, they are doing that in a way, but their main focus is on legalization through medicalization. And so that's when I basically saw this other opportunity to focus on, weaving psychedelics into the social fabric in a way that is also more accessible. I was recognizing that with the clinical side of things, it's pretty tough to access for most people, and I felt like there was something new that I could offer or that I could create. And so that's kind of where the Flying Sage really started to take shape in being a community. I started to host integration circles, and that was kind of the first event type that we hosted. And then we came up with seminars. So we launched a series called the Expansion Seminars, where we would host like panelists to come and talk about different topics. And this was a really fun event type. And it was kind of these two events that initially started the community. And we would just host them once in a while, like maybe once a month, I think is how we started our cadence for our integration circles. And integration circles were just free events that people could come to basically share about their psychedelic experiences and kind of integrate them or prepare for them as well. We found that even though we originally thought integration circles were just about after the experience, a lot of people came because they were curious about how to prepare as well. So that kind of, those two came hand in hand. But yeah, essentially, those are kind of the initial events that I started running. And then from there, we slowly started growing, offering more events where we could. And then in 2022, I think we launched our membership platform. And this was a really good move for the Flying Sage, I think, and for business in general, because we shifted towards this reoccurring revenue model where we were essentially seeking membership fees. And so, in the early days of the membership, all I focused on was offering immense value. So, offering value that felt kind of ridiculous. So for example, we would charge, let's say, $25 for a ticket to a seminar, just a one-off seminar, but then we would charge like $30 for $30 a month for like unlimited access to events that we would have. And let's say we'd have like three or four events per month. And so we would charge just barely anything more, just a small margin more for the membership than it would cost for a single event. So it basically created this no-brainer opportunity for people to join. And that's really, I think, what helped us initially in the early days, was to create this basically no-brainer decision for people. You want to take all the decision fatigue away. And so we made this really compelling, I think, value offer for people through the membership. And essentially we basically offered the membership as an opportunity to attend free events all the time. So like unlimited events. And over time, we've kind of tweaked that and changed that. But that's kind of how we initially started. And yeah, I think the great thing about building a community is that the feedback loop or the iteration cycle is really focused on getting feedback from actual community members, right? So your customers are your community members, and there's this more intimate relationship that you can form with your customers when you are building a community. And I think that's a really nice thing about building community. So that's kind of a brief overview of our trajectory with the Flying Sage, how we started with dropshipper business, then we transitioned into focusing on events and then building a membership. And that kind of, takes us to a few years later now where we are today, where we've got a solid base of members on our platform. We've got about 200 members now with the Flying Sage, focus mainly here in Vancouver, but we've got plans to expand now to other parts of Canada. And yeah, it's been a really beautiful project that not only I felt like has been sustainable in the sense that it is a profitable business, but it also is something that's been fulfilling to work on. Like, I couldn't think of really a cooler or more engaging business to be able to contribute to. So anyways, that's it for this video. And if you want to learn more about my journey with Flying Sage and about how to build an effective community business, then keep watching.